Hey gamers, this is Jack the Bomb. I'm going to comment on an article by IGN. IGN really gives everybody good enough material to laugh at and really prove that they don't really know much about gaming. They wrote an article about the next-gen consoles coming too late. That's what they think. Their tagline is Sony and Microsoft are being shy with the Xbox 720 and PlayStation 4. It could be a mistake. There's no arguing whether or not it's a mistake. I do think that they've gotten themselves into the mentality that their PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 consoles are ever expanding and their capabilities are limitless. The reason why they think this is because of the firmware upgrades. If you look at what the PlayStation 3 and 360 could do when they first launched versus what they can do now, they have expanded a lot of the capabilities through software updates. However, here's the problem. They're getting stuck in that mentality even when it comes to newer games. They believe that their consoles can still live up to what today's technology standards are quickly becoming. And this is something that obviously Nintendo realizes is stupid. You can't say that, well, okay, this is going to be our last console and we're just going to keep on releasing software updates to ever expand its capabilities, because you cannot software update hardware to magically have features it never had. So Nintendo's releasing a new system. That's basically what they're talking about, how the Wii U is going to have a 1-year free run. Newsflash, this is not new. This happened with the Xbox 360, and I love a lot of people, especially IGN, releasing tons of articles talking about how there's no point in buying the Wii U because the current consoles are here to stay, blah blah blah. They had the same attitude when the Xbox 360 came out. You know, I remember flipping through tons of magazines showing, okay, here's the PlayStation 2 version of the game and GameCube version of the game, and then look at this, here's the 360 version. Holy shit, it looks so much better. That kind of leap and jump you're not going to see with the Wii U. It's not going to be a substantial difference between the PlayStation 3 and 360 and the Wii U, like there was a difference between the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox 360. However, the Wii U will get better over time, and this is this should be common knowledge at this point. I really don't understand how people are being nitpicky about launch title games for the Wii U, saying, well, they don't look as good as the 360 and PS3. No shit. This is a console that hasn't even been out yet. You know, this is a console that maybe a handful of developers have had it for about a year now, and they have changed the hardware already. PlayStation 3 is going on, what, 7 years old, or the Xbox 360, same deal. It's been around for a very long time. Developers have already learned the architecture pretty to the point where they really can't do anything more with it. It's already hit that limit, or I could even say it's hit that limit years ago, because most games still don't run at native 1080p. That PlayStation 3 back there gets fucking hot. It's because its hardware wasn't designed to do the things it does today. You know, they have expanded it over time. It's doing 3D Blu-rays, where when it first came out, it wasn't supposed to do that. They've expanded software-wise everything they can do to make these systems do more. This will bite them in the ass because of this. All it will take is for developers to get used to the Wii U's hardware architecture quicker than they will the next generation other consoles. The Xbox 360, one of the main reasons why the games looked better on there, and the reason why it got more exclusives, and the reason why it got its games first, is because of the 1-year head start. If anyone's going to argue that point, really sit down and look at the facts. Microsoft's Xbox 360 had an entire year head start, where developers were releasing games for it, learning the architecture, way before they even had an opportunity to learn the PlayStation 3's architecture. That's why I would say 9 out of 10 multi-platform games were developed for the 360 first and had a sloppy port over to the PlayStation 3, because it was cheaper to do that based on the architecture. I, for some reason, see that in the next generation. I see that the Wii U has the opportunity to become the next 360, where the majority of the games are being developed on its hardware first and then ported over. Will it happen on all across the board? No, because there's still a stigma. There's still bad blood between a lot of these third-party developers and Nintendo. Nintendo was basically the big fuck you, or gave the big fuck you to every developer back in the N64 days. Even prior to that, they were like, hey, it's my rules or get the fuck out of here attitude that has created bad blood. They basically gave the middle finger back when it was the N64, GameCube, and Wii era, where they're releasing these awesome games on every platform but, regardless if the hardware was capable of running it. Look at the GameCube days. There was plenty of series that were released on the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox. The GameCube was more powerful than the PlayStation 2. Yes, its discs couldn't hold as much data, but the CPU and GPU were far superior than the PlayStation 2. But a lot of the developers gave the middle finger to GameCube and to Nintendo and said, look, we're not dealing with this. We don't want to give you any respect since you didn't give us any respect. So, I don't know. I really think that this is going to be a shakeup. I just can't believe Nintendo is going to be the first to launch a new console in a generation. This is something we haven't seen in quite possibly a very long time. You know, I think the last time I can remember would be NES days, because the Super Nintendo came out after the Genesis. The N64 came out after the Saturn and the PlayStation. The GameCube came out after the PlayStation 2 and Dreamcast. The Wii came out after the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Well, a few days after on the PlayStation 3. So for Nintendo to be the one to start off a whole new generation, this is going to be very interesting, guys. This is Nintendo's time to shine. They have fucked it up in many ways with the E3 press conference, not really saying much, but I'm telling you guys, the next generation is going to be very interesting. What I really want to see is native 1080p support. I don't like this bullshit where with Call of Duty for PlayStation 3, it's not even running at native 720p. It's basically upconverted, and it looks like shit by today's standards. My gaming rig runs everything native 1080p at the highest graphic settings. That's what my 680 looks sexy. Even Call of Duty running on this rig looked horrible. So it's a shitty game, but that's a whole nother riff for another time. So I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Do you think IGN, for instance, I mean, some of these articles are they're just begging for people to fight. I mean, a lot of these you have over 2,000 like flame war comments and stuff, and they're talking, you know, about how, you know, they're gonna end up burning. Let me tell you this, I do believe IGN is in favor, greatly in favor of the PlayStation 3 and 360, or Sony and Microsoft, because they do write tons of articles that shun Nintendo's decisions and basically say that Nintendo sucks, but not saying it. They say it in the way they write their articles. By saying that, you know, the Wii U isn't next gen when it is just a clear example of that. You know, as they say, you can't spell ignorant without IGN, and that's very clear with the articles that they write, especially Colin Moriarty. His articles should be considered banned material, or he should put opinion on every fucking article he writes. I mean, I just read his other one, which I'll make a whole nother video about. He did one called 10 franchises Sony should bring back. Not one of the fucking franchises he wrote there I actually would consider a legitimate franchise to bring back. There are franchises that may have still been in development or just aren't Sony's characters, and they had to write back, like Fat Princess. It came out this generation, okay? I mean, you can't say, oh, they have to bring it back. It launched on 2 platforms. I really don't get IGN's articles. They're really, really stupid. Half the time, they're stupid. So take care, guys. Look out for future content. Please subscribe. Please check out my recommended channels list. There's plenty of people there that you should also subscribe to. People that I think have great content and live up to my expectations. So take care.